factor. 26 degrees, feels like 27, but 78% humidity, overcast skies, but good conditions. Crowd already coming in. And the match kicks off. It's Russia getting it back. Babayev, the man in number 10, Sukin, and from Krasnoyarsk in Siberia, Filatov taking it up. So first opportunity here for the Russians to have a go. Canada defended well last week, but they're a doughty side. The Russians, they just never give up. Little glance there from Harry Jones, just trying to avoid being penalised. Russia come again. Waiting for it. Filatov out on the right, but Davidov from Saracens Moscow it is. Takes it up towards the 22. Sukin thought about a dab down the short side. Goes open. And building nicely here, the Russians. Zhivotov. Jones managed to get him and then finished off by Justin Douglas, but not rolling away. Quickly taken. Russia looking to get first points on the board. Driving for the line, Sukin. Can't make it. But it's their Bondarev. Well, he has to go in and support because the Canadians were counter-rucking. Another penalty. Taking it quickly. Sukin. No, they'll go back.
Well, it's just hard to defend after this many phases. This Russian team doing extremely well to keep possession, but can they get any joy from it? Need some points. This is a good move to slow it up. Filatov just setting this team up. He knows how important this all first scorers.
Well, they had pretty much all the balls so far. And now they take the tap, and the try is scored by Dmitry Sukin. Well, good reward for a good opening from the Russians. Sukin gets his first try of the series. The man from Krasnoyarsk in Siberia puts his team in front.
All too easy in the end from this Russian team. Sukin was the one on the board. You see it just tap it. Just the player's emotion, wasn't it? Harry Jones, I think it was, got caught in two minds. Just a little bit of hesitation gave Sukin the opportunity. Great start, Russia.
Well, they really have dominated Canada in the opening stages. Canada coming off such a good performance last week. As I say, an open looking pool. USA and Argentina fought out a very tight game in the end. The opening match of the day. Sukin, the man who scored the try, with the restart. Canada setting it and then losing it. So Russia enjoying all the ball at the moment. Here's Davidov, wanted to get on the outside, slipped. But still possession for Russia, and numbers away to the left too if they can spread it. Babayev moves it on. Lazarenko. Zhivotov takes it into contact, which they're quite happy to do. A little bit messy though, picked up by Big Adam Zaruba. And here's the opening opportunity now for the Canadians. Pat Kay, who was brilliant last week, he's taken over that role from Nathan Hirayama. And now a chance to clear out. It's the veteran Moonlight over. John Moonlight scores his 92nd try in 7 series rugby, and Canada strike back instantly.
Yeah, great work at the breakdown. Adam Zaruba getting over the one, but Pat Kay was the one who got it all started. See the way he was able to take that ball forward, draw in 2 defenders. Johnny Moonlight had a man in support as well, and Mike Fullerfeld, but in the end he didn't need him.
Oh, John Moonlight. He's been around for a while, plays 15s and 7s, and chasing down his cousin Dave Moonlight, who was one of the great figures of Canada rugby. Dave, about 15 tries short of him. Sean Duke, the leading Canadian try scorer. Moonlight, there he is. Philip Mack in his sights, and Dave Moonlight. Sean Duke, the top scorer. A real family heritage in this Canadian team. Canada tracking up, do well from the restart. Lucas Hammond getting his hands on the ball. So Canada just starting to settle into their work now. Kay with the offload for Eilefeld. Powerful runner. They've got some very good ball carriers, this Canadian team. There's one of them, Zaruba, Moonlight again. Taking it into traffic. Jones comes in to clean out. He's hanging on a bit there. Yeah, good work on defence from the Russians.
Yeah, Harry Jones just a couple of steps too slow to support the former captain, and Johnny Moonlight. It was the right idea by Moonlight. They had to be physical. I think that's his achievement against the Russians. If you go side to side too much, they're able to cover you up. Moonlight takes it forward, and unfortunately they couldn't get their recycle.
So Russia holding their lead.
See the two players over. Well, great work by Bonarev, I think it was, over the top. Great technique.
Didn't have a good opening day in Wellington last week. The Russians didn't win a game in the pool, but better on day two. Likewise, Sydney last year, they weren't able to win a game on day one. Came back on the second day, beat Japan and Samoa, and finished up in the equivalent of what we'd now consider 13th place. Now, Canada, though, and they've got the big power runners to ask some questions. Pat Kay, a very clever general. Lucas Hammond with the offload. Here's Harry Jones, the skipper, trying to thread his way through. Russians looking to hold him up, and I think they've done so. Now he gets a knee onto the ground. Well, allowed to go through with it, but they didn't have someone there. And so towed through by the Russians, and Lucas Hammond has to go all the way back to halfway where he loses it. Now here's a chance for Russia on the turnover. Chance to catch the Canadians with their defence compromised. Ball floats out to Bondarev. Referee says that one went back. Zhivitov calmly takes it into the setup. Good opportunity here. If they can stretch their lead before half-time, they will be thrilled. Davidov waiting for it, turns it back. They're patient. Filatov goes to ground. Now Zhivitov again, who's in everything at the moment. Options both ways. Davidov, they came up on him quickly. So Canada keeping their defensive shape. Tackle made there by Fuelefal, but Russia have it again. Maybe chance to spread it. Zhivitov. Here's Bondarev. Davidov, they're backing each other up, waiting for the opportunity. Lazarenko, it's awkward. And just towed away there by Filatov. Nice work. Kotov was waiting for it. In fact, Babayev. And Babayev takes it back to the 22. Well, prolonged period of play here. Time showing on the clock. Can they make it count? Can Canada hold on? Filatov, nowhere for him to go. Canada keeps sticking to the task. There's a tackle from Lucas Hammond. Zhivitov, well, this is fascinating. Babayev trying to get on the outside. Tackle made by Zaruba. And, oh, that's great defence from Canada. The Russians were patient, but Canada were determined.
You can see the energy expended, tackle after tackle. Adam Zaruba, the big man, getting the shoulders down nice and low, and then Mike Fuelefal coming over the top as well in support. Great reward for some hard work. They'll kick it out and go to half-time.
Yes, they tap it, then kick it into touch. No, he didn't tap it. They have to have the line out. Sooner or later, Carl, the message is going to get through to these guys.
Yeah, technicality on a penalty. You have to tap it and then kick it out. You can't kick it straight to touch. Otherwise, this is the end result. You've got to play the line out.
So now they need to win the line out, and then they can put it into touch. And Moonlight obliges. And, oh, hello. Now they've decided they don't want the half to end. Maybe they thought the Russians might have gone to sleep. I think they have. And here is Justin Douglas. Well, maybe Russia just a little bit lulled into thinking the Canadians had enough. Canada get the ball, just awake to the possibilities, and the powerful running of Justin Douglas sees Canada take the lead right on the stroke of half-time.
Well, this is where you can get on one-on-one, on set-piece play. You can see that centre on centre, look very tired in the tackle. I think it was Davidov who gets done on the outside, doesn't he get a finger on it, but this guy can fly. Justin Douglas, first time we called his name on attack, and that's what he can do.
Well, the conversion is over from Pat Kay. And so Canada have turned it around. Great defence. And then the try right on half-time. They lead at the break 12-7. Canadians now, the Yorkshire, who was the coach of Samoa, displaced by Gordon Titchens, and we'll see him in action fairly soon. But Canada with a 5-point lead. Restart proceedings, second game of the day here in Sydney. Massive day ahead of us. Massive 2 days ahead of us, and if you're coming, don't delay. We've got some great games coming up here in the very near future, including Fiji, Samoa, New Zealand against Australia in the early part of the day. Mistake here from the Russians in the tackle, and so Canada just took control of things quite nicely towards the end of the first half. We'll have the ball.
Yes, Zivotov there. You can see, I think that's a direct result of the conditions here. It's very humid, well, it's very slippery. You can see players with their boots slipping on the surface. Good tackle over the top. Great reward here by Canada. Great chance.
Canada with Kay standing nice and close to the scrum. Here's Douglas. His strong running, his pace, certainly a feature of the team, although the Russians have defended well here. He has got a knee onto the ground, though, and so they have to release him. Numbers stacked up on the short side. Fuailafau moves it away to Hammond. Goes through a hole on the 22. Russia well positioned over the ball, though, as Bondarev, and they get the turnover. Good defence from Russia. They're a team that really know how to hang in there, but, oh, they've got to stop dropping the ball. Fuailafau, there might have been 2 knock-ons.
That breakdown's been a real good battle throughout this game. Both teams have been extremely good in that area, very physical. But the Russians, they do so much good work in that close quarter stuff, and then to drop the ball again like that in their own half is just disappointing. They were so good at the beginning of this game, keeping possession, getting in the right ends of the field, and they got the results.
Canada have had to make a lot more tackles, so they've missed a couple more, but 85, it's pretty good. 85%. Changes being made, and this is going to be a key factor today too, working the players, working the whole squad, Carl.
Yeah, it's all about when you inject that impact off the bench, sharing the workload. Very tough, as we see conditions coming across them. Russia, they need something.
Ivan Kotov in jersey 11, the man you saw there with the bandage around his head. Canada take it onto the attack now. Moved on quickly by Isaac Kay.
Lost forward and you're in front.
Yeah.
Knock on offside.
That's a nice hit though by Filatov. Came in with the read, and there's the end result. Harry Jones down. Got one under the ribs for his troubles. Canada having to set up in the midfield. The forwards rolling around the corner. They did have the numbers. Filatov had to make a decision. Look him here. Get a man over. Gets his shoulder in. Nice and legal. That's beautiful stuff.
Yeah, Harry Jones. Nice rib exposure there, Harry. Just coming into the tackle with a bullseye right around his sternum. There he is. He was going to hand over the captaincy to Nathan Hirayama. They're sharing it, or alternating it. Of course, Hirayama blew a tyre last week, did a hamstring, and so unfortunately he's not going to be here. Oh, towed through by the man who's just come on for Russia, Kotov. Just a bit too much weight on it, though. It'll be either a scrum back or a dropout.
So competitive, haven't they, this Russian team? Doing extremely well at the breakdown. Made a nice hit in defence just before. Got that wrong on the lift, but if this just doesn't get hit so hard, he was in for all money. The Canadians, well, they looked a bit exposed in this game.
The Russians in second year as one of the core teams. Last year, they had a very good player, Ostrusko, but they tended to depend on him a lot. Really playing as a team unit here. Messy ball at scrum time. Canada, well, they had it. They might have lost it here. They have. So Russia going to get a chance. Can they force the upset? Roshin, another sub, turns it back into Filatov. Roshin comes away with it. Here's Kotov. Trying to work a little wrap move, and nice show of the ball there from Filatov, and it was a high tackle.
Yeah.
So here's a great opportunity now for Russia. Taken quickly by Roshin. Kotov now, but always fired the pass away. Pat Kay got in the way. And that just might save the day for the Canadians. Oh, hang on, Russia going to get another chance. Well, we've talked him up a bit in this game, but there's a mistake from Justin Douglas, and who knows how important that might be.
What about the intercept from Pat Kay? Nice and timed, but Justin Douglas just having a little look up where he was going before he secured the pill. And this has been some sloppy stuff. Damien McGrath would not be happy with his team and the performance of what they've done here on game one. Always tough, I know, to get your second win, but those sort of mistakes like that, inexcusable.
Well, that left-hand column doesn't look too good for Canada, for a team that played so well last week. This is a dusty start. And now they're going to have to defend to save the game. Not good passing, though, from the Russians this time. Roshin has to go back, ball ricochets away and a touch, and that'll be a line out. So still plenty of time here for the Russians.
One guy I think the Russians need to go to is Sozanov, the number 3. Look at this. This is a kick in here. Right on the head. That's called a falcon, ladies and gentlemen, where it goes right between your eyeballs. Never nice.
Hearing birds tweeting. But play goes on. Won by Lazarenko. Roshin now. They move it wide. Sozanov slips the first tackle. Turns it back and forth. Nicely taken by Roshin. Difficult pass. Inside the 22 they go. Sozanov moves it away. Numbers to the right. Zhivotov try to set it up for the chop from Lazarenko. He's taken just a few metres from the line. Ball squirts out. Penalty.
Use your hands in the ruck.
Well, they don't have to panic here, Russia.
Using your hands in the ruck.
Good move here, Tony, though. Slow it down. Egg time off the clock.
Mikhail Kudinov, it is who takes the tap. Looking for a run. Oh, it was there. The hole was there for Sozanov. Couldn't take it. And the game has just slipped from the grasp of the Russians.
Oh, I was just talking him up. He did everything right. He ran the line. The ball was on time. All he needs to do is catch. Just look at there. They're drawn in 2 defenders. Big miss by Russia.
Well, he may not have made it to the line, but they would have been right on the line if he'd held that.
11. Number 11.
Still not over, though, Tony. I see the position 5 metres out for the Canadian team. Is going to be a strong push by the Russians.
Well, they've been putting a bit of pressure on. They've managed to disrupt one of the Canadian scrums so far.
Fine. Set.
Canada right back on their own goal line. Kay puts it into touch, does he? Yes, kicks it away downfield, rolls into touch. Well, it's a good clearing kick. But there's still time for the line out.
That is a great clearance under huge duress by Pat Kay. Now can they execute it, the line out? Russia, they've been sloppy this half. Can they get one right?
Well, there's the Kookaburra. Signal full time. Game's not over. Oh, brilliantly done, Moonlight. And they'll bang it away at a touch. Well, John Moonlight scored the try. He also makes a line-out steal right at the death. And Canada hang on to beat this determined Russian side by 12 points to 7. So Canada